Do you see
See
me
you.
yet? Oh,
We
here we
can't
go.
see.
Oh,
Hello.
Can you see me okay?
Yes, it's Christopher Atkins.
I'm here. I'm here.
You see how many people have shown up to admire you in the pirate movie?
That's so sweet. Thank you. My gosh.
How are you, by the way?
I'm doing all
that
right.
looks
I got a little ice thing going on my shoulder here, as you can see. It just trying to calm it down a little bit, but everything's good. Yeah.
Well, we're not only huge fans of yours, but we're huge fans of the pirate movie specifically. So we're all
Uh,
here to celebrate you. And Darren came dressed as Christy McNichol, as you can see.
Ah, oh my gosh, I got to see this.
my dream, and I want a happy ending. I
Oh,
want a happy ending.
me
So
too.
don't we all? But it's such an honor to meet you. It's such an honor to speak with you about this criminally underrated cult musical classic because it has so many fans and people love it so much. And before we get into that, I'll ask you, were you aware that people love the pirate movie to the extent that they do?
That's a great question, and it's interesting because I had no idea. It didn't do as well in the box office. It was Australia's biggest movie at the time that was ever made in Australia. Um, but I had no idea. But I was at the AFM one time in LA, and I was walking through, and these people stopped me and went, "Oh, you're Christopher Atkins," and I said, "Yeah." And you were in, and I'm thinking the Blue Lagoon, the pirate movie. I went, "Oh, you saw that?" And they went, "Oh, I love that movie." Blah blah blah, and that's when it started. And all of a sudden, there was this massive generation of people. I can't tell you, I get more on that movie than I do on Blue Lagoon. It's absolutely uncanny how many people. Christy and I, when during COVID, we were signing autographs for people. She would get it and then mail it to me, and then I'd sign it. And people were getting both. Oh, she's so cool. She's great. I just love Christy. We're still really good friends, but we were signing autographs for people during COVID, which was really remarkable, but it just kept going and going and going and going. And not one thing came in for Blue Lagoon. It was just unbelievable. And the funny thing about it is it's kind of it's kind of raunchy when you grow up and start really realizing what's going on in the movie.
But you are
That
part
sort
of
of
some of the
grubby.
best raunchy films of all time. We were just talking about A Night in Heaven before you came on.
Oh yeah.
So, but pirate movie means so much to so many people. And before I go on, I would like my co-host to talk about what movie means to them. We can end on Michael because Michael is possibly the biggest pirate
Uh,
movie aficionado of all time, and I'll let him tell you.
all
But
right.
Darren, go ahead.
Well, the for me, the pirate movie takes me back to childhood. I remember being about 4 or 5 years old and it coming on HBO. And this is back in the day when Fraggle Rock and whatever movie of the month would come on repeatedly, multiple times a day. And the pirate movie was one of those movies that was on. And I became obsessed with it. The storyline, the pirates, there was a black pirate that really made me go, "Ooh, yes, this is exciting."
Yeah.
Everything about that movie spoke to me. And then, as the HBO movies go away, I hoped that the pirate movie would one day come back. I think maybe a year or two later, The Pirates of Penzance, the movie came out with Kevin Kline and Linda Ronstadt. And I remember the adults trying to gaslight me into thinking that that was the pirate movie. And I kept saying, no, 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 no. The movie that I saw had the Goon guy and Christy McNichol. And it had the same song, The Modern Major General. So they kept trying to tell me that, no, Darren, it's Pirates of Penzance, it's Gilbert the Southern. I was like, no, 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 no. And she woke up and they didn't believe me. And it wasn't until I got to college in 1997 and we're sitting around talking about movies of our childhood and somebody else brought up the pirate movie. And I said, with Christy McNichol? And they said, yes. And it's one of those things. And so then we had a pirate movie night, and someone had the soundtrack, and it's been a thing ever since, the pirate movie.
Well, I'll tell you, it was what you just reminded me, and this goes back to that last question. I did a play in at a university. Now I can't even remember what university it was, but I did a play with them. They had a program where they have a celebrity come in and work with their students, their drama club, and do a play with them for the university. And so I was doing this play with them, and all of the drama club had me at their house, whatever the frat house or the sorority house, whatever the house was. And they said, okay. Here, just sit here for a second. We have a surprise for you. I went, oh, okay. So I sat on the couch, and all of a sudden, coming from both sides, from behind the hallway, all of a sudden they came right out like in unison, dancing the pirate movie and singing the songs and doing the whole freaking boat number right in front of me. I was so shocked. I couldn't believe it. But it's amazing, like you said, it's amazing how many people really got off on that movie. And why? Tell me why. What was it? What was it that somehow I still get people saying I've got my kids been watching it. We watch it relentless. I had Germany. They screen it every single year. People dress up in costume. They come almost.
It's
I mean,
because
it
it's
just
nostalgic and it's sweet and it fits perfectly within like Grease 2, Back to the Beach, um, Teen Witch, those really cheesy but lovable and enjoyable 80s cult musicals. And they mean so much to people. And it takes us to a time when things were simpler. And pirate movie is just cheesy, good, feel good entertainment. And you don't have to think, but you come away with the warm feels.
well, I
Holly,
do.
I see you shaking your
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I do have to admit though that the music was good. They did a good job adding that the newer songs, and to
Yeah.
this day, "Pumping and Blowing" is a great song.
That's brilliant.
Yes.
Uh,
Holly.
my first experience with pirate movie is similar to Darren. So I grew up outside of New York City in like a high-rise apartment. So it was one of those like modern buildings that had cable already built in, and we had HBO. And that movie was on every day at 8 a.m. And it was one of those like put the kid in front of the TV, let him like, just zone out on it and let him play and all that. And I had like a pirate phase as a kid, as weird as that
I
is.
I
I
think
was obsessed.
every
Like between this and
yep.
like Pippi Longstocking, like I was like really into like pirates for like from like the age of like 3 to 4. And obviously like I didn't get all of the jokes, the raunchier stuff until much later. But like I actually just did a rewatch about 2 hours before this, and I have to say like this movie really like cuts deep with the references. And I'm what I love is like the fact that like it transposed Gilbert and Sullivan and the Pirates of Penzance through a 1980s lens and made something really remarkable that like James, you brought up Grease 2, and it's very much raunchy like Grease 2, but for some reason it feels so bubblegum.
Yeah.
Like you could watch it with your mom and dad and they're gonna get those jokes, and then you could watch the slapstick stuff. Like Chris, like your character just it's like almost like you're obviously in on what's going on, and you almost seem like a Bugs Bunny kind of like cartoon at some points with it. I mean, you get a lightsaber at one point, and
Well,
all
that
the
was
jokes landing. And
that was actually funny, that the lightsaber, because that was my idea. We were
really,
yeah, well, we were talking about this scene, and I said, well, didn't they in Raiders of the Lost Ark, where the guy was coming with the big sword, and he was sick or wasn't feeling well, and said, "Can I just shoot him?" Right,
yeah, yeah.
that famous scene. So I sort of said the same thing in this, and it turned around and came into this whole goofy thing of a lightsaber. And that's how that turned out to be, this lightsaber.
I
It
love the fact that like it just played on again like what was popular in culture, and I think the reason why is also because the movie is essentially a dream.
Yeah.
But I mean it's just it makes me this is the thought that came to mind, that if this movie was made today, it would be on the level of like Shrek. If this was like a
Right.
CG movie, and I'll tell you why, because of the way you guys were doing in this movie, Shrek copied 20 years later in terms of just like taking the piss out of a story and modifying it, but like being earnest with it. And that's why, it seems as though like camp wasn't really in the 80s, and this movie is just pure joyous camp. And I'm so happy that like it is recognized now as being something that it was always intended to be, and a part of my childhood. Like, so
Well, I
I have
always,
so many questions for you.
no, that's fine. Ask away. But I think over the years, what you're saying has really hit home in the sense that a lot of kids, they enjoyed the colors, they enjoyed the songs, they enjoyed the pirate, they enjoyed the romance. It had all of that little kid kind of stuff and the silliness, which worked for them. And I think it was one of those simple, humble little movies that was just fun. It wasn't anything mysterious or dark or foreboding or anything like that, or they even had to think too much about. It was just silly what's going to happen next, and then the musical numbers, and of course, little girls love all those musical numbers. And yeah, that movie took us 6 months. I was in Australia. Oh, I have so many stories. It took 6 months because I had to take sword fighting. And the funny part about it is the Pirate King was one of the producers and he never showed up for freaking practice. So he didn't have the choreography. And we're literally on that background at Werribee Castle running along the rampart. I mean, those tiny ledges, literally doing it in Australia. The stunt guys had a pad about this thick and they're running with us along the ground, holding the pad, saying, "Hey, we got you. Don't worry about it. We got you." I mean, no. And we're sword fighting, and the Pirate King, we were supposed to go left, and he'd always go right because he was never at rehearsals, and he'd whack me. I had welts all over me from him whacking me constantly. It was a mess, but we had to take sword fighting, had to take singing, and we did dancing every single solitary day. And I'm suck at dancing so bad. If you notice, I'm always in the background and I'm the star of the movie. But we had to do all of this, and then we did rope courses. So they actually had a scene that we shot but didn't end up in the movie where I came head first down a rope during the fighting scene, which was kind of cool. It was a stunt thing where I'd slide head first down. And so we had all of this going on, but they had one director, and then that director was fired, and then they brought the other director in. So that's oh, sorry, I gotta lean
it's
back
okay.
here a second. So that's why we were there for so long. I actually had to leave to New Zealand and then turn around and come back in so I could get my visa again because it's only for 3 months.
Randy and Amber, and then we'll end with the biggest, or then myself, but then I'm talking about the biggest pirate movie fan. I mean, we were just talking about it. You have no idea, Chris. You have no idea. Okay, Randy and Amber.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry. So unfortunately, I actually just saw this movie not that long ago for the first time. So I actually have to say, I feel very deprived in the fact that I didn't see it when I was younger. Because James had mentioned about getting to interview you and was telling us about the movie. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, I need to check this out. So I was talking to my sister about it the other night, and she even said, she's like, oh my God. She's like, I love that movie. She's like, I watched that movie every single day when we used to go visit grandma in Florida for 3 months straight. She's like, oh my God. She's like, I'm so excited to sit down and watch it with you. And we watched it the other day, and I am so upset that I did not see it sooner. And the fact that I haven't seen it shocks me because I loved it. the camp, the music, everything about it. I was like so impressed. I'm like, wow, like I was like, I actually was said that to my sister. I'm like, I feel deprived that you did not show this to me when I was younger. I'm like, I would have watched this every single day with you. It was so great. Like I honestly wish that I would have seen it sooner because it was such a wonderful movie. I've been listening to the soundtrack like every single day since I first saw the movie.
Well,
It was
thank you. No.
wonderful.
Yeah,
And
I actually
Go
got a
ahead.
gold album from my song "How Can I Live Without Her" in Australia.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got it in the other room. I can show you, but yeah,
Oh, that's so awesome.
I actually got a gold album. And so every time I sing happy birthday with my kids and my grandkids and their ears start bleeding, I always say, I have a gold album. Dad.
um, so I saw a pirate movie a few years ago. So a really embarrassing story is that I went to grad school and they gave me the script for Pirates of the Penzance to design the to design the stage production. And I was like, oh, I've seen this movie. Guess what? It's not the same thing.
Oh
Not
my
the same thing at all.
gosh.
They did not enjoy my humor. And I was like,
Uh-oh.
oh, I guess I should read this script. And I read it. I was like, this isn't as funny. I was like, this
Yeah.
it's not the same thing. So yeah, that's my little pirate story.
That's all you have to say,
funny.
Amber, about the pirate movie?
Yeah. I mixed them up. It was not a good day for me at grad school.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
The first time I saw this, I was 16 and I bought it on DVD and I loved it so much because I watched it during the summer and I just kept introducing this movie to my friends. I'm like, you have to watch the pirate movie. Like I told Amber, I was like, if you love Grease too, you'll love the pirate movie.
It's
And I
so
keep
wild.
pushing this movie on people because it's so cathartic and it's just such a good movie and the music just means so much to so many people and it just gives you warm butterflies and warm feelings. And I preach the pirate movie all the time. I'm like, you have to watch the pirate movie. And our resident pirate movie aficionado / fanatic, Michael.
A little bit. Yeah. Hello. I think I was 18 when it came out, and I took my nephew and niece for Christmas, supposedly their treat, but was really my treat to go and see it. And I like James was saying, I kept telling people about it and taking them to it. So I got to see it probably 6 or 7 times at the cinema when it was first out.
Wow.
And I had the record, and then I got the songbook, which was there weren't very many copies of this around.
What hit you so much that you liked it so much like that? What was
I think
it?
the music, probably the music. I remembered you from Blue Lagoon, and I remembered Chrissy McNichol from Family. And Little Darlings. I remember her from that as well. There were quite a few musicals came out at that time. There was Annie, and I think Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. So yeah, it was a good time for movie musicals. But and Grease too, I liked as well, and Xanadu. But no, I just loved the songs. And I've still got the double LP.
Michael is being modest. Michael's being very modest because you want to tell Chris what pilgrimage you and your son just took.
Well, he's obsessed with Titanic, and there was an exhibit in the Melbourne Museum that was closing. So we went over to Melbourne. We're in New Zealand. We went over to Melbourne about 3 weeks ago now, and we were going to go to Werribee House, and we found out the day before that it was closed for some other film was filming there. So we couldn't get into Werribee House, but we were staying very near the Flinders Street station, and the ship, friends of ours over there said, oh, but the ship is just sitting there, was like not very far away from where we were staying. So we walked around and that's of course only open to the public on every second Sunday. So we didn't get to go on it, but we've walked around and seen it. It exists. What was it? The Polly something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll get to everybody's questions, but I want to put Michael on the spot because Michael's a professional musician. Would you mind playing something for Chris from the pirate movie? What is your favorite song from the movie, Chris?
Oh man, Ugh.
You want to sing
Your
your
song?
one?
No, I don't want to sing.
No, you don't
No,
have to sing.
no, not unless I have a fancy machine that can make dogs sing. Then I'm all right. But
No. Well, now
I don't even
we
remember the
watched
words.
Blue
But
Lagoon. We watched Blue Lagoon last night, and you sing in that as well, which I hadn't.
well,
But
Merry
well, Christmas
Christmas, sort of.
carols.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's lovely. It's
I'm
lovely.
not. I'm not a singer. I did do with. Remember Lori Loughlin?
Of course.
Yeah, Lori Loughlin. I've known her since she was 12 years old back in New York when we were modeling and everything. And actually, she was the very first person I ever modeled with was Lori. And she and I did Grease, the play, all up and down the Eastern Seaboard, and that was
Wow.
very challenging.
We're
'Cause
not.
I'm
We don't
I'm just
expect
not
you.
a singer. I'm a
No,
baseball
we're not
player.
expecting you to sing. But Michael, it just like Michael's a professional musician, so I love to hear him play. Would you play
Yeah,
"How
play
I Live
something.
Without
Just
Her"?
all right.
How can I live? Yeah, sure, sure. It's like,
He's got it memorized.
it's probably enough of that. Here
Oh
you
my
go.
God, I can't believe you got it memorized. Wow, that's
Oh, I can,
incredible.
I've heard it so many times.
Oh my
It's there all
Michael,
the time.
Michael, did you ever think you would play that song for Christopher
No,
Atkins?
I didn't ever. There you go, bucket list. Who knew? Who knew?
So Michael, where in New Zealand are you?
I'm in just out of Wellington, just out of the capital city.
Yeah, my
Uh,
brother was my brother was the emergency doctor there in Wellington for years and years and years.
Really?
Yeah,
I
he
did
was
not know that.
but he's such a bonehead. I think he was more of a patient in the ER than he was a doctor.
Oh,
Like he fell off his moped trying to get to the hospital and broke his shoulder and collarbone or something, and he ended up oh God, he's just such a mess. But he lived there with his wife and kids and grew up in Wellington, or not grew up there, but worked there for many, many years. Now he's back here in New York. I'm in Connecticut, so
so
Oh,
did you come here? Did you come to New Zealand often, or ever, or?
oh yeah. I went there, and Wellington's where they shot all the Lord of the Rings stuff, and
Lord of the
he's got
Rings.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got the production company, the houses there, and the studio and stuff. So I went and saw all that and everything, and
Oh,
yeah, no,
fantastic.
yeah, I love New Zealand. New Zealand was great. As a matter of fact, I have a friend right there now who I grew up with in high school here in New York, and her husband is an all black, and he's got
Oh,
CT from all the concussions from playing
oh
rugby,
dear.
but he was a very
Yeah.
famous all black, I guess, and so now they're touring about trying to get recognition for rugby players and CT. So, but she
Ooh.
is trying to produce a movie that I wrote that's there in New Zealand. So we're trying to raise the money there now and shoot that. It's a kids movie. It's like a Goonies kind of film. Real fun adventure.
oh, I
Yeah,
could see that. It's a full circle moment.
it
My
could.
fabulous co-host, do you have questions for Chris about pirate movie? I'm sure y'all do.
I'll go first. So obviously Blue Lagoon was like your launch pad into really like movies and all that. Was it intentional that they put you in that Blue Lagoon loincloth
Oh God.
in the movie. Was that thought up as like breaking the fourth wall? Because again, with Gilbert and Sullivan, I mean, even though like the movie's based on it, one of the cool things that like I love about Gilbert and Sullivan is that they were the kind of writers that would allow culture, like whatever modern culture was happening at the moment, to go into their show. That's how it kept it almost like timeless, but at the same time, very much instill like the public vernacular of what's happening. And Blue Lagoon was like one of the biggest movies of the early 80s. So was it an intentional choice by the director to have you in that costume?
God, yes. It was after Blue Lagoon, I had to show my ass in every single film after that. I mean, that's all it was. And if they could get the freaking loincloth or the damn curly hair, because I don't have curly hair. It's just the director for Blue Lagoon always saw that character as a sort of a Greek Adonis, as he put it. So he always saw him with curly hair. So they permed my hair constantly on that island, and it was just awful when I finished. I looked like Albert Einstein. It was all broken and sticking up and everything. But after that movie, I was so recognized with curly hair, they always kept curling it. So they wanted to make a play on Blue Lagoon, obviously, for that movie also. I mean, they threw everything in that pirate movie except the kitchen sink, or probably actually the kitchen sink too. So yeah, no, that was conscious.
Cool.
Darren,
Cri-
I see your wheels turning.
Well, I'm still, it's amazing that I'm sitting here talking to you guys. My question would be, what was your relationship with the source material and the preparation? As I had said earlier, I know that they had tried to tell me that this was Pirates of Penzance, and I was like, this is not like that. So had you seen the Pirates of Penzance on Broadway, perhaps? And what did you take away from that in going into the preparation of the pirate movie?
That's a good question. I can't even remember if because I remember we were going to see it, and I don't know if they wanted us to or not. Now I can't even remember. But what I can say is that I did know that it was a Broadway musical, and God, what's his name? The other who was in it in the music. I mean,
Rick Smith.
Rex Smith, yes, and Rex was in it. Um, and I know that when we were set to do ours in Australia, Rex and that group was going. It seems like when they do a Peter Pan, there's a bunch of them, or Robin Hood, they do like three different and they all come out at the same time for some reason. And this was the same thing with that. And they were doing their version, but they were doing it more Gilbert and Sullivan, and we took off on a camp journey on it and made it something completely different, but tried to keep it basically the story of Gilbert and Sullivan. So the preparation for it, like I said, it was months and months and months of sword fighting and singing lessons and rope and dance and all of that. It was nonstop for months and months and months. So, and then it all had to change because we got a new director in that was totally different. And he took it into a whole nother version. So I mean, there's a lot of preparation as far as the physicality and getting into being able to lip sync and know the songs and do all the rest of the stuff. And then the dancing, like I said, and it was there were big numbers, so some of them were very tricky to try to pull off over and over and over. But it was one of my favorite films to make. I have to tell you, of all the pictures that I've done about 100 of them now. It's just that and Blue Lagoon are probably my two favorite films, and it shows because obviously everybody else liked those two movies more than anything else. Also, A Night in Heaven was a very interesting movie. It was supposed to be a whole different film, um, and John Avildsen, who won the Academy Award for Rocky, was directing it, and and so it was a big deal that he was doing this, but he's very good at stand up and cheer movies. Directors have their niche they're good at. And he's very good at the stand up and cheer, Rocky and all those kind of things. But he wasn't very good with relationship pieces. And Leslie Ann, who's a great lady, and I love her to death, and I got along with her great on the film. But they rewrote the entire picture, and it turned me into a bad guy. And my manager and kept saying, "But you can't have the star of the movie, the bad guy. There's no movie out there where the star is actually the bad guy. You can't. What are you doing?" So anyway, so it didn't hit the mark, but this picture didn't hit the mark as much as well in the box office, but it went so viral. It still boggles my mind to this day how viral the pirate movie went. And it's so wonderful to see all the smiles in your faces and the fun in your hearts from this fun little movie. And that's all you can ask for an entertainer.
Amber and Randy and Michael, do y'all have any questions about the pirate movie?
Yes. Why? So you'd done the Blue Lagoon. Was this the next thing you did? And why did you want to be in a musical, or did you want to go to Australia, or did you want to work with Christy McNichol? What was the thing that you went, oh, that's the one I'll do?
Well, that's another good question. So after Blue Lagoon, Columbia Pictures put me under a contract for 4 years, and it was the first time since the old MGM days that a studio had put an actor under a studio contract. So I was locked into Columbia Pictures after Blue Lagoon, but we figured that it was because they wanted to do a Blue Lagoon 2. And they just wanted to hold me for that for some reason. But I was supposed to do pictures for Columbia Pictures. And nothing happened, nothing happened, nothing happened, nothing happened. And then finally, 20th Century Fox came and said, "Hey, we'll buy you out of the contract. We want to do this pirate movie thing, and then we want to do A Night in Heaven." So that's sort of how that came about. Was they bought me out of that contract to go do these pictures over there. So yeah, in Australia, I love Australia. Australia is my second home. I'm there. As a matter of fact, I just finished pitching some uh, a series with Craig Bennett. I don't know if you know Craig Bennett. He was with Channel 7, I think, forever as an interviewer, and he's uh, writes a lot of articles and interviews. Anyway, so we just pitched a series there, and I've got a film that I want to go there, and so I'm hoping to get back. But my ex-wife is Australian. We were married 20 years. Got two dual citizen kids from Australia. So I loved Australia. It was wonderful to be there, and since then it's just been one of those things. But that's really how the whole pirate movie sort of thing came together. It wasn't so much. I mean, it's always fun as an actor to be able to do a little bit of everything, a sci-fi or a horror monster, play a Dracula or something. I mean, that's what Hollywood was built on, was the Dracula and Frankenstein and the werewolf, all those kind of things. So to do a little bit of everything like that is much more fun instead of getting stuck into one thing. But I did get stuck into one thing, and that was I had to show my ass in every single movie after that.
I don't think anybody has complained.
I actually had back surgery, and when they had me on the table and they were doing they had to do a fluoroscope and shoot some dye into my discs or something like this, and the nurse is peeling me up, peeling my little gown apart back there, and I go, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, I get a lot of money for showing that ass."
Oh Lord. Speaking of Lori Loughlin, Amber's background is the Tanner house from Full House.
What? Really? That's so funny.
That's just what I had on my Zoom.
That's so funny.
Sorry.
Yeah, she's a
Amber and Randy, do y'all have questions about the pirate movie? Or Christopher in general?
So the movie itself, it's so fun and campy. In your opinion, what was the most fun scene that you had filming?
Oh, good question. Fun. so much. There's so much. The nuttiness behind that movie is just ridiculous. Uh, I mean, it was fun to walk on water and fall in. It was fun to learn all the sword fighting and crash through windows and do all that. That was just so much fun. The dancing, I don't know, but the it was fun swimming at night. And they had charges in the water, and we had to swim through a very fine line through these charges that were supposedly the cannonballs coming trying to hit us, and that was pretty wild. We had a lot of over the top night shoots. Poor Werribee Castle, that was insane. It was just it's just there's not one really specific thing that stands out so much as it was just a trip. It was such a, I mean, every single thing of that movie was so over the top. I mean, I really enjoyed all the rope courses and the fight scene on the pirate ship was really fun, and then breaking into song and dance and all of that was kind of goofy and um, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I could go on and on and on, but they were all. That's a very good question. Just can't answer one specific thing. Sorry.
That's
Amber.
okay.
Um, so I wanted to ask you about Blue Lagoon, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I want to know what your thoughts were when you first got the script and like if you feel differently about it now, because personally, I think it's a very important film for kids of a certain generation, especially like latchkey kids who didn't have anybody at home to teach them about their body changes. And it felt like a safe movie for them to be able to say, hey, there are kids on screen going through these changes. Like I was a latchkey kid. So to me, it was a very important film. I just wondered what your thoughts were when you first read the script. You think it was going to be important? Like how do you feel about it?
Well, uh, well, first of all, Blue Lagoon was my very first film, so I really knew nothing about the business. I wasn't trying to be an actor, never wanted to be an actor. I just auditioned for it because I thought it would be a cool thing to do, and then I could tell all my friends I auditioned for that movie when it comes out and say, oh yeah, I read those lines, that kind of a thing. But I never in a million years thought I was one of 4,000 kids who auditioned for that movie, and I found out
Wow.
later. So how I ended up getting picked, it was just fate, I guess. But the when I read the script and it did talk about nudity and things like that. For some reason, it didn't seem to bother me as much. I don't know why. Coming from, I'm born and raised in Rye, New York, a very conservative kind of place, but it didn't really bother me. But then the director was the way they talked about the nudity, because it was really important to the film. It was really important to the film, and he wasn't going to move off of that. And but he talked about it in a very sincere. It wasn't gratuitous. It was for exactly what you were talking about. It was all about natural developments, natural growth, natural everything from the island to the sea to everything. It was just how things would be type. And so, and that's part of it. So anyway, I don't know why, but it didn't bother me. And then of course we had Australian crew, and they're freaking crazy off their heads anyway. And it was probably that picture would have never been as done as well if it wasn't for the Australians. The Australians were just, I mean, go get them, carrying cameras up cliffs, and I mean, you have no idea how amazing those people were. And back then in the 80s, it was all topless beaches in Australia and Europe and everything. It was just America that was very conservative on a lot of things. So that was the big issue, was the nudity, obviously, in that picture. We almost got an X because of it. But when I got there, the Australians, maybe it was literally a deserted island. There was nothing on the island. It was just us, and that's a whole nother story. But um, so they made it very comfortable. The director made it very comfortable, but he wanted us to tan. Um, so naked, so we had full tans because obviously you don't want a bathing suit mark when you're trying to do a film like that. So it was so being with a bunch of comfortable people doing it, and it was an adventure and it was an experience, and I was 18 at the time. By the time that movie was over, to this day, I don't like wearing a bathing suit at the beach.
Oh. Um,
I think it's a
Um,
very important film, personally. Like, I really do.
Thank you. Yeah. It's a beautiful Romeo Juliet movie, I have to admit. Yeah.
I
And
am
beautiful music in that one too. Really, really lovely music.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they wrote a song called Emmeline that they wanted me to sing based on the music that Basil Polidorus wrote.
That thing.
Emmeline. Yep, exactly.
That
I see you now for the first time. Yeah, they wrote a whole song that they wanted me to sing for the movie, but and we did it, but it never went on the album.
So is that in
Oh.
the vaults somewhere that could be released one day type something, or the lyrics?
Very, very possibly, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It was a beautiful
piggybacking off of
song.
piggybacking off what Darren and someone else said, was it hard, or did you feel, I mean, you became this overnight sensation, but we love musicals on this podcast. Was it intimidating and frightening to have to sing the extent you did in the pirate movie? I mean, how did you feel about having to put your voice on a soundtrack, knowing that it was going to be pumped as an LP and sold? Was it intimidating to you, and was it frightening?
To answer your question, yes, it was. It was because I'm not a singer. I mean, I'm not a trained singer. I'm not singing. I wish I was more musical than I am. I always wish that I still maybe I'd like to learn an instrument or something because I feel it, but I'm not really a great singer at all. So it takes, thank God for machines because they can finally get it and just tweak it just enough so it works and all that. But yeah, it was very intimidating, especially when they had me on American Bandstand and all the freaking what's his name in Australia, Monty. No, what was his
Oh,
name?
Molly
Molly
Meldrum.
Meldrum. Yeah, Molly. What a nutcase he was. He was fun. I liked him. Molly was awesome. But yeah, all of those shows I had to go on and do all of that with my little pipers. And I look at it now and I go, oh my God, did I have some balls back then to actually pull that stuff off? I would be so scared now to try to do that. Forget about
Well, your voice is lovely in it.
it. Well, that's what I'm saying. Thank God for machines.
And you and Christy's voice, I mean, she sang in The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. Your voices blend so beautifully. I listened to First Love and your song and Happy Ending all the time. It's such a beautiful soundtrack. And I've always wondered, you said that I've read an interview you did years ago about that they can make a dog sing. But regardless if they had to tweak, your voice and stuff, we can all agree it was beautiful.
Well, thank you. It was fun. It really was fun, and it's very fun to say that I was in a musical, and then it's even more fun to say I actually got a gold album. So I
How
mean,
did you how did that make you feel that you had a gold album on Australia?
oh my God, are you kidding? I just love throwing that in my kid's face. I told you.
Do you have it to show us?
Yeah, I got it. I got it. You want to see it?
Yes.
All right. You're gonna have to wait a second. I'm in one of these
Oh, I'm sorry.
these old man chairs, so I can because I can't move with this shoulder.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. You see, look, I got this. I got
Oh,
Oh,
beautiful.
oh, oh.
I just had it done 2 weeks ago. So
then
they
we
did
believe you
What?
about the gold
You're-
record. Don't
you're
worry
not-
about showing
You're
it.
making
No,
the
it's all
poor
right.
guest get up, James. My God.
We believe you about the gold record.
Yeah, now you're dead. Now I gotta go get it. But it's yeah, I had a shoulder replacement, so they completely replaced my shoulder.
Oh my
I
God.
got
And you're doing
a whole
this
new
and
a whole new
you're
metal
dealing with us
shoulder.
crazy
All right,
people.
hang on. I'll get it.
I need somebody to ask him what beaches he goes to.
Mhm.
I know y'all were thinking it.
I might
Saw
have
your
or have
face.
not been.
Oh Lord, I had it. Oh, anyway, I know I'm the only one thinking it.
I'm fan you down.
I have the vapors.
You have the
Doesn't Darren look fabulous as a mix between Christy McNichol's character and Ruth? Like both of them. Isn't he fabulous?
yeah, but I'm
Mhm.
seeing like a little bit of Ruth
Yeah.
there too. Yeah.
I
Okay.
love with
Oh,
Darren's
God.
look.
Let's see if I can do this. Hang on.
Excited to see this. This is like
Put my headset
exclusive.
back in so I can hear you.
Exclusive.
Of course, I'm sitting on it. All right. I'll give you some show and tell. I can't see anything anymore. It sucks getting over. Right, left. All right. So
Is there like a
this.
ceremony to give you a gold record, or is there like they just mail it?
Oh,
This is
wow.
the final scene that
Oh.
they did a mock-up for it.
Wow.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so this was the storyboard artist did this for the
Oh my
final
God.
the final fight scene. All power, kind of fun. Sorry,
Give
there's
me a
glare.
happy ending.
So there's that. That's kind of fun. And then and of course
Ah.
Fantastic.
remember she was a good kisser. Oh.
There it is.
There we go.
Where? I can't.
Can you see it?
How do I? No. What do I do? No.
Is it too glary?
Ah, there we go.
Oh, there it is.
Oh.
Ooh.
So there it
Amber
is.
wanted to know, how do they present that to you?
They just sent it to me. There wasn't any presentation or anything that I remember. I think they just sent it to me and got this gold album. I mean, the producers kind of owe us a lot of money and they disappeared. One's dead now, so that was kind of a nightmare. It was some of the backstory wasn't so happy, but the film made a lot of people like you just all over the world. Like I said, in Germany, I did an interview, literally a Zoom interview on a giant screen at a theater in front of a whole crowd of people about to watch the movie. And I said, "Are you kidding me? Really?" And they just
I
loved
was
it.
going to ask that. Do you ever hope or pray, or have you heard anything about the pirate movie play? Because there are like certain theaters, of course, that do shadow casts, and theaters do cult musical screenings. Have you ever heard or been asked to do any sort of music screenings of the pirate movie?
Um, I haven't. I'd like to try to put one together with Christy, and just to be able to come
We'll
out.
be
say
there.
But the problem is, and here's the problem. The problem is Christy. Christy has issues, and she gets very, very, very nervous in front of people, so she can't do a Q&A. So, for instance, I did a dinner with her not long ago with a bunch of '80s stars. We did a night with your favorite '80s star or whatever, and people paid to come have a dinner, and we talked a lot of stuff and whatever. But when it came to the question and answer, where we all sat and they could ask us anything we wanted, Christy left. She can't handle it. So if we did a pirate movie, I'm sure she would come if we had a dinner or something. But if we sat up on stage, she'd leave. It would just be me, probably. So that's the only bummer. She just can't handle it. But otherwise, yeah, I'd love to do it just because there's so many fans that love that movie. Well, why not? I think it would be fantastic.
Well, we will make it. Maybe we can make it happen, y'all.
That would be great. That would be great.
Where in Germany?
I wanted to ask you, and we can ask everybody, do you have any favorite quotes or scenes from the movie?
Oh,
It's so quotable.
golly. see in 1940. That flipping a cement book over. I was like, what? Okay. No, wow, that's another good question. Why didn't you prepare me this so I could really remember beforehand? I mean, you're going back 40 some odd years now. No, there's no real major quotes, I guess, not for me, but there's some that Christy says that are like
Oh.
when she's talking to the police and she's on the horse and everything, and uh, she's hysterical in that scene. I just think she is so funny in that scene.
She's such a good actress.
Oh, she's so good, and she's got more
Empty
energy.
Nest.
Oh, she's so good. She's so good, and she's still a great person too. We get along really well, which is awesome.
Well, let her know that the pirate movie has so many fans that love and adore it.
Oh, I think she knows. I think she
Michael?
knows.
Well, I could tell you were having a good. Was she having as good a time as it looks in the film? She just looks like she's having a ball because we knew her from gritty, serious stuff,
Yeah,
and she was
yeah.
so light and happy and bubbly. And was it a fun experience for her, or was that the weight of the movie on her as well? Did that sort of get her
Yeah,
down a bit? Or...
yeah, she did. She had a great time. And one of the things that was just flashing in my head that was one of my favorite scenes was when she was in the suit of armor, and she had to
running around
spit
as
out
it's a real bitch.
she had to spit out her gum. Somebody hold my gum because she had the gum. I mean, those are all the outtakes. But it's not all sunglasses and autographs. It is a great line that she says in there with. But that was one of my favorite scenes, was trying to kiss her through a suit of armor and everything, and the thing kept opening and closing and opening and closing.
Do y'all have any favorite
And-
scenes or quotes you'd like to tell Chris?
I think
Mine is the. Okay.
I was going to say, like, one of my favorite ones is from the Pirate King. The age of consent line is
yeah.
such like a brilliant, like, it's such a funny just like turnaround. Like, dude, I'm old enough. Like
Yeah.
that and in the beginning, like when the ship gets attacked by the Chinese pirates, and he
Right.
turns to and he's like, "I told you to order Chinese, but this is ridiculous." Like,
Yeah.
again, just like it just the writing just shows so sharp. Like
It's so campy. I know.
I
It's just
love it.
over the top.
Amber, Randy, and Darren.
This morning I was watching it and Mabel goes, "The body's an 8, the brain's a 10. So let's go." And I was like, "Yes, queen." Yes.
That was my favorite one too.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Darren and Randy.
So my favorite line, obviously, is the happy ending line at the end. But my favorite number is "Keep Pumping and Blowing," the number with the background singers. When you asked earlier, what was it that spoke to children about that? For me, it was almost like for a moment we were watching Sesame Street. Like that movie had just a little bit I call chaos magic. It just had a little bit of everything in it. And then all of a sudden there's singing fish in the middle of the there's just moment. And you don't ever see it again. It's just, and as kids, you just go, yes, yes. So
yeah, that was pretty wild.
Randy.
That was funny.
Mine definitely has to be the part with the happy ending. This is my dream. I want my happy ending. That touched my heart. I love that because we all want our happy ending at the end of the day. I love that.
Yeah,
It is. That movie means so. That song means so much. Like I read an article years ago. I think it was Vice that was like in defense of the pirate movie, and there were the writer said, "Sometimes I just want to go out into the street and yell, give me a happy ending." I love it so much.
I've seen you do that though.
Depends on what part of town I'm in. But I love that musical sequence. But my favorite quote I love so much. He goes, "It's a beach party, and I'm Frankie Avalon, and I'm in that ponytail." I love it because you mentioned Lori Loughlin, and we have some big beach, Back to the Beach fans here, which is her musical that she did with Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon.
Oh, yeah.
So there's another cult musical
Yeah.
connection. But I love this movie so much, and I just want to tell you, like, you mean so much to so many people, and despite your different roles, this particular movie just is so part of people's childhoods and stuff. But if I'm ever feeling blue or whatever, I go back to the pirate movie because it's just like simple summer musical watching, and I just love it so much, and it's so beloved. And if you ever decide, you and Christy ever decide to do a screening, holler and let us know. And wherever we're at, we'll try to be there either in person or digitally because or virtually, because we love this movie so much, and we love you, and we thank you so much for taking the time. And just even when you had a surgery, you're sitting here talking to us and regaling us with these beautiful stories. Thank you so much for taking the time and being as awesome as I suspected you would be.
Well, thank you. No, thank you guys for being such huge fans and spreading the word on the movie and enjoying it so much. It really warms my heart, and it was it's fun to see. It really is on my side to see your side, and I'm really happy and hope that you enjoy talking to me as much as I enjoyed talking to you guys. And
Maybe we can do it.
Absolutely.
Maybe we can do like a shadow cast, like Rocky Horror has shadow cast. Maybe we can all be in the shadow cast. I can play Frederick. Darren can be Christy McNichol. Michael can play the music.
I'll play the
Polly
music.
can be the Pirate King, and then Amber and Randy can be in it.
That would be
Michael
funny.
could do the music.
That would be
That would-
funny.
Let's make it happen.
We'll make it
Anything's
happen.
possible. I think we should do it.
Ready.
Thank you
What-
so much, Christopher. Anything else that you would like
thank
to
you.
share with us?
No, I just think that it's very sweet and wonderful that you guys wanted to have this time with me, and I appreciate it. And sorry that I'm kind of laid up right now, but at least things are moving forward, and hopefully, who knows, maybe because of people like you, they can spark a pirate movie too, which would be hysterical at our age now.
Or at least a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Or at least
Yes,
a
a Blu-ray.
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
No,
Missing
I
scenes.
did a Blu-ray for Blue Lagoon. I don't think we did a Blu-ray for. I told you the after production was got a little dicey there, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The movie was what it is, and it just cracks me up because on my side, when people want an autograph, and you have to write because they want it, give me a happy ending. It's one of those things where keep pumping and blowing, give me a happy ending. It's not until you grow up that you start realizing how off the wall those things really were, and they got away with. It's kind of nuts and it's fun.
I think we talked, Michael and I talked last year with Helena, who was unable to come. I think the people who wrote the music, they did music for Tina Turner. So it wasn't even just random songwriters they found. It was someone that had written music for Tina Turner.
Like the Mad Max song, maybe, that We Don't Need Another Hero, or maybe.
I think even What's Love Got to Do with it.
So
So
okay.
Lalo
It's like-
Schifrin, and then oh god, what's his name? And I think he wrote Witchy Woman.
Oh my
he
God.
wrote
Explains
a
a lot.
bunch of good songs. I forgot his name. I thought it starts with a B.
Trevor, is it Trevor? Trevor
No.
Farron or Trevor? Who? It's
Yes.
because that we were just thrilled and like shocked to figure out that like the reason the music's so good because it wasn't some random person that did it. It was like someone who had done like tons of music for other
Yeah.
big artists.
Terry
Yeah.
Breton.
Yeah, Terry Britton. He's
Yes,
the
Terry
one that
Britton.
wrote,
Terry
wrote a lot
Britton.
of,
He
a lot
wrote
of
What's
good
Love Got to Do with it? So that's why it's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his song catalog, he's written so much, starting all over again. So like, Typical Male by Tina Turner.
Yep.
So we don't need another hero. So that's why
Yep.
this music slaps, is because he is a great songwriter. So you can also gloat to your kids and grandkids. My number one gold record was written by the same person that wrote most of Tina Turner's big hits.
Yeah. Huh. Yep. I'll tell you what, hit the mark on that movie in a very undertoned way, but boy, the cult fanatic on that picture is just beyond. You have no idea how big the pirate movie ended up becoming.
We know.
Yeah, where in
blows my
Germany
mind.
where in
I-
Germany do they do the screening? Because it sounds like it's like very big there.
No, it's very bizarre. I don't remember where it was,
Uh-huh.
but I was blown away that they actually was having this screening and they wanted me to say something to the audience and they had me zoom in to the audience beforehand.
That is so
And
cool.
it was really cool. Yeah, it was very, very cool. So
Leave it to the Germans to embrace pirate movie and David Hasselhoff.
yeah,
Leave it to the Germans. Thank you so much, Christopher. You've been a star,
well,
and you mean.
thank you.
I hope you have a happy ending and with your shoulder, and a happy ending in life. Period.
Thank you very much. Well, hit me up anytime. It's been a pleasure. It's wonderful meeting you all, and maybe
Lovely to
someday
meet
I'll
you.
Meet you.
run into you in person too. To be fun.
You shall.
Thank you, Christopher.
All right. Thank you
Thank you
guys.
so
Thank you.
Take
Keep
care.
pumping and
Bye-bye.
blowing.
I'll play you
Oh,
out.
we will. Oh, he's gone.
That's enough.
That's fine.
Thank you so much. See y'all later.
Thank you. Thank you for organizing that.
Bye.
Of course.
Thank you.